Who are you talking to?
It's not her fault.
John.
She'll compromise us again.
No, she won't.
You'll go back to the hospital?
John! Answer me!
Did you know the real John Nash refused to watch most of the movie about his life? He said it felt too strange to see his pain turned into a story. But millions watched anyway and cried, wondered, and hoped. A Beautiful Mind isn't just about math. It's about a man lost in his own mind, fighting invisible enemies, and finding love that never let go. The film feels calm, gentle, but behind the scenes, it was full of quiet battles, secret codes, and real tears. Let's dive in and discover 20 weird and amazing facts about A Beautiful Mind. Number 20. Russell Crowe didn't know how to do math. Russell Crowe had never studied advanced math before playing John Nash, but he didn't want to fake it. So he spent weeks with real mathematicians, learning how they think, talk, and write equations. He practiced writing formulas on chalkboards until his hand cramped. He even attended real Princeton lectures, sitting quietly in the back like a student. By the end, professors said he moved like a mathematician. But the truth, he still didn't understand half the math. He just learned to look like he did. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 19. The real John Nash made a cameo and no one noticed. At the very end of the film, during the Nobel Prize ceremony, an older man walks slowly across the screen. That's the real John Nash, playing himself. Most viewers missed it. He wasn't announced. Director Ron Howard wanted it to feel natural, like life. Nash agreed only if it wasn't a big deal. He stood quietly, smiled faintly, and walked away. It was his only scene and his only nod to the movie that told his story. That wasn't acting, it was real fear. Number 18. The roommate was never real, but felt real to everyone. Charles, John's college roommate, doesn't exist. He's a hallucination. But during filming, actor Paul Bettany acted like he was really there. Russell Crowe would talk to empty chairs, laugh at nothing, and share meals with air. Crew members started forgetting Charles wasn't real. One day, a new assistant asked, "Where's the other actor?" It took weeks for the truth to sink in. The power of belief made the fake feel true. Even Bettany said he sometimes felt guilty for leaving Crowe alone on set. What looked perfect on screen almost went wrong behind the camera. Number 17. Jennifer Connelly wrote real letters to her on-screen husband. To understand her role as Alicia Nash, Jennifer Connelly didn't just read the script. She wrote real letters to Russell Crowe between takes. She called them Alicia's thoughts. In them, she poured out love, worry, and hope, just like the real Alicia might have. Crowe kept everyone. He said reading them helped him feel the weight of her loyalty. Connelly even met the real Alicia Nash, who told her, "Just show how love stays, even when the mind leaves." Those letters became secret fuel for both actors. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 16. The Pentagon code-breaking scene used real military advisors. The scene where John deciphers secret Russian codes in a hidden government room, real US intelligence officers helped design it. They brought old equipment, real cipher machines, and even classified-looking documents, with fake info, of course. Russell Crowe had to learn how to use a light table and trace patterns like a real code breaker. One advisor whispered, "If this were real, you'd be in a bunker right now." The tension in Crowe's eyes, not acting. He felt the weight of secrets he wasn't supposed to know. That wasn't acting. It was real fear. Number 15. The film changed. How Hollywood shows mental illness. Before A Beautiful Mind, movies often showed people with schizophrenia as scary or violent. But this film showed John as brilliant, kind, and deeply human, even when lost in delusions. Mental health groups praised it for treating illness with dignity. After its release, doctors said patients felt less ashamed. Some even used the film to explain their own struggles to family. Ron Howard worked closely with psychiatrists to get every detail right, from how John's eyes darted to how he flinched at voices. What looked perfect on screen almost went wrong behind the camera. Number 14. The real Alicia Nash was on set every day. Alicia Lard Nash, John's wife, visited the set almost daily. She watched silently from the back, arms crossed, eyes sharp. If a scene felt wrong, she'd whisper to the director. Once, she stopped filming because Jennifer Connelly's dress was too fancy for the 1950s. Another time, she corrected how John held his coffee cup. Her presence kept the story honest. She later said, "This isn't just a movie. It's my life," and she guarded it like a treasure. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 13, the pigeon feeding scene, was improvised. In one quiet moment, John feeds pigeons in a courtyard, lost in thought. That scene wasn't in the script. Russell Crowe saw real pigeons on set and just started walking toward them. The camera followed. No words, no music, just a broken man finding peace in small things. Ron Howard kept rolling, tears in his eyes. Later, he said that silent minute showed more about healing than any speech could. The crew stayed still, afraid to break the spell. That wasn't acting. It was real fear. Number 12. The Nobel Prize ceremony was filmed at the real location. The Grand Nobel Prize scene wasn't shot on a soundstage. It was filmed in Stockholm's actual Nobel Hall. The production team got rare permission to film there for just one night. They had to finish by dawn. Everyone worked in hushed voices, as if in a church. Russell Crowe wore a real tuxedo, borrowed from a Swedish diplomat. When he stood at the podium, he imagined the real John Nash standing there years before. The weight of history filled the room. What looked perfect on screen almost went wrong behind the camera. Number 11. John Nash's son also had schizophrenia and inspired the ending. Few know that John and Alicia's son, John Charles Nash, also developed schizophrenia in his 20s. The filmmakers learned this late in production. It changed how they saw the story. The ending, where John learns to live with his illness, became even more powerful. Ron Howard added subtle hints that healing is possible, not through cure, but through love and routine. The real John once said, "My wife and son gave me reasons to stay." That truth shaped the film's heart. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 10. The chalkboard equations were checked by real mathematicians. Every equation you see on chalkboards in the film was real and correct. Princeton professors reviewed each one. Some were even John Nash's actual work on game theory. Russell Crowe practiced writing them for hours so his hand wouldn't shake. One professor joked, if he applied to Princeton now, we'd accept him. But the real magic? The math wasn't just background, it was part of John's soul. The numbers were his language when words failed. That wasn't acting. It was real fear. Number 9. The film almost didn't get made for years. Studio set. A Beautiful Mind was too quiet, or too sad. They wanted more action, a villain, or a happy ending with a cure. Ron Howard fought for years to keep it honest. He turned down big budgets that came with demands to change the story. Finally, Universal Pictures said yes, but with a tight budget and a short schedule. Howard accepted. He knew the truth mattered more than flash. That risk paid off. The film won 4 Oscars, including Best Picture. What looked perfect on screen almost went wrong behind the camera. Number 8. Russell Crowe and Jennifer Connelly barely spoke off camera. To keep their on-screen tension real, Crowe and Connelly agreed not to socialize during filming. They ate lunch apart. They didn't chat between scenes. It was hard, especially during emotional moments, but it worked. Their silences felt heavy. Their glances carried years of love and pain. Only after the final scene did they hug and laugh like old friends. Connelly later said, "We saved all our warmth for the characters. It looked easy, but it was chaos." Number 7. The Government Agent was based on a real delusion Parcher. The shadowy government agent who gives John's secret mission came straight from John Nash's real delusions. In the 1950s, Nash truly believed he was decoding enemy messages for the U.S. Department of Defense. The filmmakers read his old letters and hospital notes to recreate Parcher exactly. Actor Ed Harris studied Cold War spy films to get the voice right. When Nash saw the movie, he said, "That's how I heard him, chilling and true. That wasn't acting. It was real fear." Number 6. The baby in the film was Jennifer Connelly's real son. The infant you see in Alicia's arms is Kai, Jennifer Connelly's real baby boy. She had just given birth before filming began. Instead of hiring a child actor, the crew asked if they could use him. Connelly agreed, but only if scenes were short and quiet. You can see her real motherly touch in every frame. When she rocks him or hums softly, that's not performance. That's love. What looked perfect on screen almost went wrong behind the camera. Number 5. The film uses color to show reality versus illusion. Watch closely. Real scenes use warm, soft colors, gold light, gentle blues. But hallucinations, they're sharper, colder, with harsh shadows. The costume team dressed Charles in bright red to stand out. Harsher wears dark green, like a spy from a thriller. Even the camera moves differently. Smooth for reality, shaky for delusions. Ron Howard said, "We wanted the audience to feel confused, just like John. Only in the end do the colors blend, showing peace. It looked easy, but it was chaos." Number 4. John Nash didn't win the Nobel for his famous Nash equilibrium alone. Many think John won the Nobel just for his game theory work, but the real reason was more complex. The Nobel Committee waited decades because some doubted his ideas. Only after other scientists proved how useful his math was, in economics, biology, even AI, did they honor him. The film simplifies this, but the truth is deeper. His mind was ahead of its time, and the world finally caught up. That wasn't acting. It was real fear. Number 3. The final speech was rewritten the night before, filming John's Nobel acceptance speech. "I've made the most important discovery of my life." Wasn't in the original script. Ron Howard felt the ending needed more heart, so he stayed up all night rewriting it with the screenwriter. By dawn, they had the lines about love being the only reason he's still here. Russell Crowe memorized it over coffee. When he delivered it, the crew cried. Even the sound guy forgot to press record at first. He was too moved. What looked perfect on screen almost went wrong behind the camera. Number 2. The real John and Alicia got back together after divorce. In the film, John and Alicia stay married, but in real life, they divorced in the 1960s after years of struggle. Yet, something beautiful happened. They stayed close. John moved back in years later. They remarried in 2001, the same year the movie came out. Alicia said, "Love doesn't always leave when the mind breaks." Their reunion gave the film its quiet hope. The movie changed their story, but their real love changed the movie. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 1. The film's biggest lie was also its greatest truth. A beautiful mind changes many facts. John never had visual hallucinations like in the film. He heard voices, but didn't see people. Yet the filmmakers added Charles and Parcher so audiences could see his illness. Critics called it dishonest. Mental health experts said it helped millions understand schizophrenia better. Ron Howard said, "We traded facts for feeling. And sometimes feeling leads to truth." That wasn't acting. It was real fear. Bonus fact. A hidden message is written in the stars. In the scene where John looks at the night sky and sees secret patterns, the stars aren't random. The team arranged them to spell Alicia in Morse code using light pulses. Only a few fans ever noticed. Ron Howard never confirmed it, but insiders say it's there, a quiet love letter in the heavens. The real John Nash once said, "Math is the language of the universe." In that moment, love became part of the equation. One small choice changed movie history. A Beautiful Mind isn't really about math or madness. It's about how love holds on when everything else falls apart. It shows that healing isn't about becoming normal. It's about finding your own way back to light. John Nash's story reminds us that even the most brilliant minds can break, and that the gentlest hearts can help put them back together. If you enjoyed these stories, subscribe for more. Every movie hides a truth, and we'll keep uncovering them, one story at a time.